Hi friends, it's me, Leilani, and I am here for another craft room video. So instead of organizing and doing all the things in here, I wanted to just give you a tour. So I only have one craft room tour up on my channel. I think it might have been from 2021. So I'm pretty sure the majority of like the bones of my room are exactly the same, but a lot of the organizing is probably different since we've been working really hard to get some stuff done. So I thought it would just be nice to do an updated craft room tour and show you some of my favorite areas of the craft room, and show you exactly what's on my shelves, go in more detail. So if you'd like to join me today as I show you around my crafty space. All right, so let's just dive right in. So I have moved my two studio lights and my boom stand out of the room so that they're not in the way and we have more room to groove in here. But first I want to show you this little area, which is what I am always looking at, staring at my view when I'm at my desk. So let me show you that. There is Penny with something on her nose. Penny, you have something on your nose. Let me see. Say hello. Come say hello. Oh, goodness. See, I'm already distracted. All right, y'all, let's show you this area. So I'm going to show you some of my little trinkets and goodies. So that's a huge thing for me. I'm a trinket person. I feel like the majority of us probably are that are into this sort of hobby, but I do have a lot of little bits and bobs around here. So I'm kind of just going to go through in general some of the things that I have in this area. So I do have an inspiration wall. I haven't updated it in a really long time, but I have a lot of pictures on my wall and different things like that. So I'll kind of go more into detail, although I don't know a lot of the artists at this point, but I could probably figure it out for some of them if you truly are interested. But I just have little bits and bobs. I have a cute baby Yoda over here. I have some of my pen collection. I love novelty pens. I have this really cool, I think that the small business that makes the horror cups is called Baby Creeps or Baby Creep. I can't remember. And I think it might be local. I got that at a local Halloween market in Memphis. I also have my Smith's candle there. If I move this candle over just a bit, I have my Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter little Funko Pop. I do have my jelly beans. I've never taken them out of there. I used to munch on those sometimes while I was crafting. I had them on my desk and then I just popped them over in this area and have never changed them out. So I might need to do a little like rearranging with that. This is a candle that me and my mom made at a candle workshop in Nashville one time together. I do have little footprints there of my Shanghai and of another kitty that we had, Furby. Then over here, I have some enamel pins and just little doodads, an old picture of me and Will. As we keep going, I have this We Are Memory Keepers typewriter, which I'm so ashamed. I don't think I've ever really typed on this thing. I just always use my computer and do typewritten things on there, but it aesthetically does look really nice. I have a little cute vintage photo album, and this is a little sock puppet, a literal sock puppet that I made whenever I was very, very young, and I still have it, and I have to have it on display. As you keep going, I have a really cute coffee mug that is some of my besties on there from my little bachelorette weekend from years ago. I do have bookmarks and other goodies in there, some candles, and there is a really cute picture of, let's get out of the light, a really cute picture there of my mom. And then when she was a baby, I love that she's holding that pumpkin. And then also a little picture of me. I have my prized trophy from camp, BFF. And then I do have one of my favorite thrift finds, which is an old school see-through phone. Let me show you in detail this baby because it is too cute. I mean, is this not just an amazing find? So special. I was very excited to find that in the wild. And I'm sorry, I tried to dust a bit, but it's just life, you know? So above here, I don't want to step on the little pin, but above here, I do have some more goodies. Now, my Good Vibes little light at the very top, it is out. It's falling apart, and I just have not fixed it. My cousin, Shelby, created this amazing ghost world art that I had to have, and it is one of my prized possessions, the largest print there in the middle. I also have, you can see that that is completely outdated, the Leilani Scraps Patreon 1 year this October. That was years ago, but I do have that there. And then I also have just some more art pieces. So we're going to pan over here and you can, ooh, hello. We're going to pan over here and you're going to be able to see a lot of my inspo walls. So I have some things in frames, some things that I've just put up. I've gotten free postcards, pictures that I really like. And I just think that it's fun to have all the color and just the vibes, you know, it just makes me really happy. And I love the way that it looks. I love, honestly, that it's in this little corner space. I just think that that looks really, really good. So let me show you my albums next. Now I will say I cannot get an absolutely great view of everything because I am literally propped up on my desk right now. So that's how close this is. So I just have to kind of make do. But we're going to try to talk about these albums as best that we can. So in the first cube there, I do have my first 2 Project Life albums ever from 2018. And those are older, A Beautiful Mess like albums. They are those kind of cardboard type albums. They're not the best quality, but I don't like reach for them too much. So they've stayed intact pretty well. Next to that, I do have my next year's of Project Life, which is 2019. Now, both of those are 9x12 albums, although you can't tell because they're all the same height, but they are 9x12. Beside that, I have a little vintage spiral bound notebook that is filled with photo booth pictures. Let me show you that real quick. This is something that I just can't help but love. I love this album. First of all, is it's not so cute, and it's filled with photo booth pictures from years ago. Here, starting out like the first year that me and Will were ever together. And then there's just pictures from the movies, pictures from the mall, back when we used to go to the mall, pictures from the zoo, from Urban Outfitters, all kinds of really fun photos from the beach. Here's some with one of my close friends, Rachel. I had a lot with her, more with Will, of course. It's just so fun to look back through. A bunch with my mom here, and then more with Will, and then my friend Shelby there. And then moving on, here's a lot of Disney ones with Will from our first trips back in like 2013 to maybe 16. And then here's a few other trips that we went on where they had photo booths available. A lot here, just a mix match of both Will and my mom. Even Will's brother made an appearance in that one. And then a few little last ones. So a lot of the more recent ones I have put in other scrapbooks, but this is definitely a prized possession. All right, that was a bit of a detour, but we're moving on. So the next 2 are my Project Life albums from 2020, then 2021, then moving on to 2022 and 2023. And then lastly, we have 24, and the polka dotted ones at the end are 25. So the ones that I am currently working on now. And then if we drop down to the next shelves, let's see how good we can do. I do have a few small Storyline Chapters albums. Then here I have mostly December Daily in the next one, but also an album all about me and Will that I do have a flip through of over here. As we keep going, I do have our honeymoon album and then some other additional travel albums. And then if you keep going, I have kind of throwback themed albums. So they're older trips that I've gone on, older photos that I worked on, and also Disney. At the very bottom, if you go back into one of my crafty organizing videos, you can see or hear exactly what's in these bins. I'm not going to be going through them, but I do have a bin there. I have some older albums there, a childhood album, and then a few older ones. And then here, these are a few more that I've worked on fairly recently. A Camp BFF album, an October Daily, and a Disney one, along with another bin. Okay, so that is how this side looks. Now, I do want to apologize and just mention that I'm mostly doing all of this just by holding everything in my hand. So I hope that it's not too shaky or too annoying. I'm trying my best, okay? But anyway, so these are my beloved cubes of finished albums. I absolutely love them. I do have a lot of what are the Citrus Twist. Oh my gosh, how can I not remember what they're called? But the little Citrus Twist albums, Life Crafted. I have a ton of those that are also finished. Maybe I'll pop in a little bit of photo of that or something right here. But I do have a lot of those that are completed, but I have those out in the living room because I love the way that the color gradient looks and we have extra space. All right, so now we'll pan over to my cute little door, a few little Polaroids. I feel like there's one missing right there. So I think I might have lost one along the way. But okay, so these are also going to be a little tricky. The lighting's not amazing, but we're going to do what we can. So the very top is quite tall. So on the top, I like to keep more of my nostalgic things, like little bits that I'm not going to reach for very often. So in my first cube there, I have it was between a dog and a bunny. Is that what it was? So was it I don't remember what that was called right now. It was like it wasn't a Dunny. I don't remember what that was called, but it was something really cute. Of course, I can't remember it, but it is from Mel Stringer, who is one of my all-time favorite artists, and she did a crowdfunding kind of thing to try to get this stuffed animal, and I'm not even a stuffed animal person, and I had to have this. It is so unbelievably cute. The details are phenomenal, and it's a prized possession. On top of its head is one of my really, really old pair of Disney ears that has my nickname on there, so I love those as well. Moving on to the next one, I have a couple of classic VHSs, Home Alone, one of my all-time favorite movies, Christmas or Not, and You've Got Mail. I have a Chicago Bulls Barbie. I have some tapes. I know I have like Bikini Kill and TLC up there. I think maybe Shania Twain too. And then also a Trolls puzzle. Moving to the next one, my dear friend Laura gifted me one of the best items I've ever gotten, which was this Pogs Barbie. Literally, I am obsessed. She's in box and she is beautiful. So she has a starring role right there. I do have a little vintage mug, a Mickey Mouse mug from thrifting, a couple old 4x4 little albums there from the past, and a Beanie Baby. Moving on, this is a newer addition. I got this cute lava lamp vase whenever I went to Nashville with a couple of my girlfriends. And so I have it there with some Sweet Valley High books, a couple little junk journals, and a cute little kitty cat. I have some more of my chapter books from different like nostalgic things that I love. The Buffy book behind there is a summer junk journal, which I'm excited to start a new one soon. Have a little troll doll and some paper clips. I have my Lizzie McGuire game along with a few other prized possessions like some Beautiful Mess, signed Beautiful Mess books and magazines. Moving on, I do have a little bit, some boxes, and I have the Babysitter's Club movie, one of my all-time favorite movies, another vintage mug, some more little albums. I do have those nostalgic albums from the 90s and 2000s that I worked on my Patreon, along with some of my little Baby Yoda figures. Okay. Then on to the next row of cubes. I do have a really cool vintage trolley gummy candy like container, which is just fun. And then I have some, I think that maybe, what is inside this box? That is the question. Mail stuff. Also, this is a little Dumbo Funko from one of my old coworkers who I just love. And then a few tapes like from videos that I have filmed like whenever I was in high school, from shows, from school, stuff like that. So I would love to get those digitized at some point. Moving on, this was one of my newer organizing. So I'm not going to go into detail about these things because they are in the organizing video if you want to see more details. But here is where I have some junk journal supplies, and I have some ideas for an upcoming junk journal that I'm considering. So we might be using a lot of that. Here we have a lot of mini albums. So I have mini albums, like the Hello Kitty one is from like high school or right after. And then Me, Myself, and I is obviously from 2023, it says there. So there's just a range of all kinds of mini albums there. Then here, this one's all about traveler's notebooks that I've completed, my book or reading journals that I've completed, Hobonichis, all kinds of things like that go in this little area. Then I have a vintage Lisa Frank lunchbox that I got at Retro Rick's Game Point. I also have a mug, a lot of mugs that are like my favorite. I like to put little fake plants in them or use them to hold like pins and stuff. I do have a couple cute Mickey and Minnies there from the 50th anniversary at Disney. Moving on, these are my goose outfits. So I definitely want to dress up this little cubby a little bit, but those are my goose outfits currently with a few pins and stuff. Over here, these are traveler's notebooks and things that are new that I haven't used yet. So they're empty and ready to go. And then I have my cute Lizzie McGuire Funkos. Over here, I do have some paper or page protectors. I can't remember what's in that one, honestly. And then I also have some ribbon. Moving right along. Now, I do not like this area. These are alphas, and this just makes no sense really, and I never reach for them, but right now I don't know what to do with them. But I do have my alphas inside of this little like container, and then I just have a little vintage kitty cat container that's very cute. This cube contains a couple of my Polaroid cameras along with this picture of whenever I met Elsie and Emma from A Beautiful Mess years ago, and I just adore that photo and that memory. Here we have some of my mail storage. So this is another one that I worked on camera. So it has stationery, traveling postcards, and received mail that I want to put into my Happy Mail binder. I also have this magazine on top, which is so fun for like junk journaling and stuff. Daphne's Diary. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. It's like something that I've seen a lot, but they are expensive. And, you know, whenever I have my trips to Barnes & Noble, I've really wanted one. So I finally got my hands on that one, and it's a spring edition. And what I really like about those magazines is that they're very themed to the seasons, which is really fun. Here's all of my mixed media. So I have it in one cube. I don't use it much, but it's there if I need it. Moving on to my first of my sticker storage. I love it. I have my older sticker box that really is just there for the vibes. And then I do have some, like my first sticker book before the BFF made their own. I have a Pipstick sticker book that I just never really used because it really didn't make a lot of sense. I have some of the other BFF books and things that they have offered. Some of my stickers that I've made, my Hug Me pins from camp. I think I got that I Love Stickers mug at camp as a prize. And then I also have my main sticker book that I use. And then over here, I have my completed year of sticker books from the BFF. I also have all of my stickers that are just not organized at all. And my cute little project pouch by Laura Wanzig that I adore. And my current sticker books are in there. Over here, I have stamps. A lot of older stamps are in, you can see the gold binder and that box. And then the big pink binder is my Happy Mail binder, along with this adorable Camp BFF mug from the first year that my friend Laura Sparks made, and it is amazing. And I have some pins in there, and then also some washi tape. Over here at the end, I do have another container at the bottom, which again holds either some older paper or page protectors. And then I have a few pouches, and mostly sewing things are over here, so I kind of keep that there. Moving on to the next one. This one is not that pretty looking because I have this huge mink machine that just fits nowhere, and a few other odds and ends. Here I do keep my fingernail polish. It's just the best place for me to keep it. And I would love to start painting my nails again for my videos. I've been really bad about that. Here I have more mail related stuff. So sticky notes and just some of my stamps, some of my markers and address labels, things like that. Here we have another one of these organizers that has like cards and postcards, also the boxed cards and envelopes, stamps, all of that. And then on top, I do have some of my things for making like bag charms and stuff. And then I have my little Xenon Funko, and she's holding Protozoa from, Protozoa, the singer from Protozoa, who sings, of course, Supernova Girl. Moving over here, we have some of that stamp storage, the bigger stamps that I worked on with you guys, and also some bookmarks and my Dolly mug, more stamp storage here with a couple little memorabilia pieces of me and Will. Moving on, see, that's one thing about these guys, they don't love to stick. But I do have ink pads, and then nothing in the middle. It's not labeled. And then extra adhesive is at the bottom, along with a lot of my punches are on top. And then here are my paper pads that are mostly organized. All right, friends, one more row to go. So this one I did not organize very well, but we do have old ephemera and cards. I would like to go through that soon. Here's like little books in my childhood Big Bird. This one is more ribbon and also page protectors. This one are older books that I've got from thrift stores that I would like to use for like junk journaling. This one is, sorry about that, I had to move around Penny, but this one is all my Hobonichi supplies so I can grab and go easily. This one is devoted to printer stuff, as is the next one. And then the one behind my goose is a lot of just odds and ends. And as you can see, there is sweet old Goldie the goose. And the bottom row are just more of these fabric bins. And here's a look at all the shelves together. And I just really love them. They provide so much storage. Here's Penny. Whee, there she is. It's kind of raining. So, and this guy, I use this vintage kitty cat as a doorstop. And so it always leaves this white residue on my floor there. So just ignore that. But anyway, there are my cubes. Okay, friends. So we've done the big ones, the cube shelves. It was really nice to be able to add these into my craft room. I feel like my other craft room video probably showed them, but I can't really remember. It was in 2021 and I can't do that math right now. But before I had these cube shelves, the wall stopped a little bit, closer over here. And there was one little typical closet, like a small closet, non-walk-in closet. So I used to use that for storage as best I could. But what we ended up doing is our bedroom is on the other side of this wall. So we were able to get rid of a small closet that was in our bedroom, get rid of the small closet that was in here, and take away a really small, hardly usable linen closet that was in the hallway. A lot of stuff that was honestly unused space. And by doing that, we redid the wall over here and was able to add in all of these cubes. So I was able to get a lot more space in my craft room. So even though it's quite small, I love my cube wall because I can have so much storage. And over time, I feel like I can put a lot of these things away or get rid of some things if I needed to, some things I don't use anymore, and I would have a lot more room for completed albums. All right, now we are going to move to this side of the craft room, which is a pretty magical space, I've got to say. So first off, these are my 90s shelves. I know I've shown these a lot because they are some of my favorite things. And if my craft room was bigger, I would love to have half my craft room with 90s nostalgic items that I could also collect, but there's only so much space, right? So on here, I'll just give you a quick pan because they go up really high and I can't really see everything. But you have all the typical things. I love older chapter books. I have my original Polly Pockets from my childhood, some McDonald's Barbie toys, a few Funkos, troll dolls, and fun little card packs, Spice Girls stuff, Furby stuff, Mary-Kate and Ashley, of course, Full House, all of that. So these are really special to me, and I love everything on these shelves. Right under the shelves, I do have another Nickelodeon themed piece of nostalgic. Ooh, the lighting just changed. Freaky. Nickelodeon artwork there. And then as you move down, there is my printer along with my Cricut. And if you're moving towards my desk, I do have my Rascog here. I am not going to go into full detail about my Rascog because it is in my latest craft room organizing video. I'll list all those below just in case you haven't seen them, but I do go more into detail on my Rascog there. Moving over to my desk. Okay, and then over here, I do have a few bits and pieces on this corner of my desk. I recently moved my Cricut down below my printer in another video, so I have a lot more space, which I love. So I do have a few areas over here where I have additional little bits and pieces that I grab for a lot, which I love. Again, I just like to throw things up on my wall, so you're gonna see a lot of these random collage bits that are photos that maybe I printed off and ended up not needing to use, just little things that I've encountered along the way, things that some of my friends gave me. This is one of my prized possessions. It says Fuller, Easy on the Pepsi from Home Alone that my friend Stephanie gave me. Then over here, I do just have some other cute little things, a few floating shelves with just total random stuff on there. Some BFF stuff, some needlepoint embroidery art that my aunt made me, things from camp. This is another signed thing from Elsie Larson. Y'all can tell I really like her. Just all kinds of little cute things, and it goes up pretty high. I have my TLC Funkos up there. I also have Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka down at the bottom, just super cute. Then if I pan over here, you can kind of see this wall better. I do have some of my patches from camp there along with some Valfrey art. I really love it. And then again, y'all, I'm not going into too much detail, okay? Not about every little thing. But under here, I do have these 2 drawers. And I did recently, again, go through those in a video. So I do tell you what's in those drawers. It's mostly smaller alphas and embellishments that I reach for a lot for project life, my LE Studio stuff for design team work, a little bit of ribbon, page protectors, my Dymo label maker tape, just stuff like that. I do have one other unsightly box under there that I do need to work on, but it also has stuff I grab at, so I kind of just leave it alone. Then if you pan over, I do have the mirror there, and then you're going to be back over to this side of the room. So really, that's about all she wrote. And there you have it. That is my craft room in a nutshell. So I feel like with all of the organizing videos, I don't have that much to show you guys, but I did just want to do a just very easygoing tour where I could kind of go into more detail about some of my doodads that I have in here, but not really all of inside of the drawers and everything, because I don't want to be super repetitive, because if you've been watching I have one little hair. Don't you hate that? The one little hair. If you've been watching my organizing videos, then you've seen it all. But I just wanted to give you an idea of my craft room and where I craft. I love seeing other people's spaces. That's been something I've been so interested in forever. I remember having books and magazines showing people's spaces whenever I was a kid, and it's so interesting to see people's creative spots, and I love it. So I hope that you enjoyed this craft room tour. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I'll be back at you super soon with more videos. Bye, y'all.